Report in full color with Ron Majors, Steve Summers, and the Eyewitness News team. Now here is Ron Majors.
Prison authorities, the Marin County District Attorney, and the State Bureau of Investigation are intensifying their probe of yesterday's violence at San Quentin Prison. 3 guards were killed: Jere Graham, Frank DeLeon, and Paul Krasnes. 3 inmates, among them George Jackson, one of the so-called Soledad Brothers, were also killed. 4 of the dead men were found inside Jackson's cell. Today, 3 other guards are recovering from stab wounds. Prison Warden Lewis Nelson told reporters that George Jackson had pulled a gun on guards as they were preparing a skin search before violence broke out. Eyewitness newsman Christopher Chow provides further details.
Although armed units from the California Highway Patrol and the Marin Sheriff's Department were absent today, security at San Quentin was tightened. Prison officials believe the 6 deaths yesterday partly resulted from a breakdown in security. While reporters waited for admittance to the prison, the mother of one of the inmates who participated in the attempted jailbreak, John Clouchet, stood outside. Doris Maxwell said she came to see Clouchet, who, along with Fleta Drumgo and the slain George Jackson, was transferred from Soledad Prison to stand trial in San Francisco on charges of killing a Soledad guard. With the publication of George Jackson's letters from prison, they became the Soledad Brothers, a symbol to blacks and Third World people of their struggle against established society. At a press conference, Prison Warden Lewis Nelson and State Correctional Department Chief Ray Procunier reconstructed yesterday's violence, the bloodiest in San Quentin history. Warden Nelson confirmed reports that a gun was smuggled to George Jackson after he had visited with his attorney. Then within 30 to 45 seconds, 26 other inmates were out of their cells in the Maximum Security Adjustment Center. 3 guards and 2 white inmates had their throats cut, and George Jackson was shot to death when he was running toward a wall. He was shot 50 yards away from the adjustment center. Only Jackson and a prisoner named Lawrence Spain had left the adjustment center. Prison Warden Lewis Nelson told reporters the slain convicts and prisoners had their throats cut by razor blades attached to toothbrushes. Prison officials say George Jackson was the ringleader of a carefully planned escape attempt in which Rochelle McGee also participated. George Jackson's brother, Jonathan Jackson, was killed during the Marin County Courthouse shootout August 7, 1970. Rochelle McGee currently faces murder, kidnap, and conspiracy charges in connection with that shootout. Yesterday, Associate Warden James Park blamed the violence on agitation from radical groups.
A lot of this talk about revolution by dilettante revolutionaries outside, who they aren't here getting killed on either side, does a great deal of harm, because you got people that are not unthinking people that really believe this, and they take it very literally and very seriously. And again, I think this is a direct outcome of a lot of this violent talk that goes on, and kill the pigs and all this kind of crap. And it's still murder as far as I'm concerned. It's still unjustified murder.
Today, Warden Lewis Nelson and the state's top correctional officer, Ray Procunier, backed up Park's charges, citing the proliferation of radical publications.
Here's a copy of a paper that was circulated throughout the institution that the family of George Jackson was harassed because of the fact that we found a small nephew of George Jackson attempting to bring in, strapped to his thigh, a cap pistol. And because of this, we got this coverage in the underground press. I might point out to you, if the officers see the inmates reading this, understandably this makes them some disturbed and adds to their anger. We have received information from many sources which indicate something was brewing.
In or outside the prison?
Both. It was information that come from varying sources which I am not at liberty to disclose.
Do you think this is the end, or do you think there's more to that?
I think this is the end of this particular incident. I'm certain that prisons being such as they are and holding the kind of people that we hold, we are likely to face this situation again, because on the outside today there are many people who appear willing to help this kind of person on the inside gain their freedom.
Reaction to yesterday's killings was quick. Warden Nelson says the prisoners are tense. Yesterday, reporter Mike Lee talked to Mrs. Lloyd Hines, the wife of a San Quentin guard who patrols the main gate.
Well, this is a terrible thing, and it makes a person, I don't know, just sick. I don't know if I want him to continue working for another 3 years or not.
I presume you've talked to other wives of husbands who work here, and how do they feel about the overall work situation in San Quentin?
Well, they feel about the same way. They think we should get paid more and have more protection, mostly. I think the protection comes before money.
The prison has absolutely forbidden any visitors for today at least. Late yesterday and today, the mother of George Jackson, Mrs. Georgia Jackson, came by to find out what had happened. She is angry at authorities for not allowing her to see her son's body, to claim it, or to get an explanation. She is bitter about her son's death, feeling that George Jackson, from the day he was born black, has been oppressed by American society and the authorities. It's not likely that emotions here on both sides will subside when an official, exhaustive investigation is completed. Practically everyone agrees that the deaths of the convicts and the guards indicates something is wrong. Christopher Chow, Eyewitness News, San Quentin Prison.
Tomorrow night, Eyewitness News at 7 will devote its entire half hour to a study of the San Quentin violence.